The following broadcast is brought to you by the iGolf Sports Network. The Women of Golf show is sponsored by the iGolf Sports Network and Golf Tips magazine. iGolf Sports is a live stream broadcast and media production company providing quality programming designed to attract the golfing enthusiast. And Golf Tips, the game's most in-depth instruction magazine, with insightful reviews on the latest equipment, tips from top teaching professionals, helping you improve your game from tee to green. Good morning, welcome to the Women of Golf, the #1 women's golf show around the world, with host Ted Odorico and Cindy Miller. Join them as they interview some of the best players from the Epson, LPGA and Legends Tour, and so many others helping to elevate women's golf. So without further ado, here are your hosts, Ted and Cindy.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Season 12 wrap-up of the Women of Golf show. Cindy and I are excited to welcome two great guests this morning. First up, of course, is Jody Brothers, the CBO of the LPGA Epson Tour. And a little bit later on in the show, we're going to be joined by Debbie Waitkus, speaker, author, and founder of Golf for Cause. We just want to remind everybody, of course, this is our last show of Season 12. And then we'll be taking an extended break, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that at the end of the broadcast. But let me introduce our first guest a little more officially, and then we'll bring him on. As I mentioned, first guest is Jody Brothers. He's the Chief Business Officer of the LPGA Epson Tour, and he spent nearly 16 years with the PGA Tour. His most recent position with them was serving as Vice President of Business Development, and in that role, he led his team to identifying, pitching, and negotiating multi-year title sponsorships, and of course, he's doing much more than that now on the Epson Tour. So let's get him on here. And Cindy, welcome our very special guest this morning, Jody Brothers.
Good morning, dear.
Good morning. It's good to see you both.
Well, we appreciate it. Thank you for taking time, and we apologize for a few little technical glitches to get us started late, but I think we're all good now. So
great.
So Cindy, I'm going to give you the honors to go ahead and start our conversation and let you fire out the first question to Jody.
Tell us about your great year.
Well, we had a fantastic year. I would say 3 years into this job now, we hadn't really seen the momentum that we're seeing, and I really see it with the athletes. 15 athletes, we just graduated to the LPGA Tour about a month ago, and then now we're in the qualifying series, and we've got a handful of those athletes that didn't make the first 15 that are competing really well this week here in Mobile as we wrap up the full LPGA season with Q Series. So I would say I'm proud of the team because I was doing two jobs this year. I don't know that people realize that. I was also doing sponsorship on the LPGA side, and the team really executed a very flawless year related to operations and the flow of the tour, and just really athletes. Athletes were super happy this year. So it's I'd say overall it was a really successful season.
So you're exhausted.
I'm exhausted.
Are you going away next week?
No, I'm going to work next week, and then I'm going to shut it down for the holidays the week after that. So I'm really excited to take some time off.
Good for you. Good for you.
Thanks.
That's good. So let me ask you something real quick, since you mentioned about the players. Obviously, this season's a little bit different. It's top 15 now. It used to be top 10. Now it goes to the top 15. And then the rest, those that get in go to Q Series if they choose. But let me ask you something. We had most of the top 15 on throughout the season, and especially towards the end to have a chance to talk with them. And obviously they were all excited. Gina Kim stands out as a big winner this season, and it was just incredible. But I want to ask you, was there any player who didn't make the top 15 that really stood out to you this season who you think is going to be a rising star? And maybe rising star is a little bit too much pressure on them, but do you know what I mean? Is there one that sort of stood out? You thought, wow, okay, she didn't make into the top 15. Maybe she only made in 30, but she really has it going on. I think she's going to be really a good player in the years to come.
Yeah, I would think the one that comes to mind is Leah John. She is from Canada, big hitter, super fit. She takes her fitness as seriously as she takes her golf. She's competing really well this week at Q Series, so she might be on the LPGA sooner than then next season she might be there at the end of this week. But I think she's got a lot of promise. She won once. She was a little inconsistent. She kind of reminds me of like Riley Smythe a couple of seasons ago. Riley had great rounds, and then she'd have a 73, 74 and kind of knock her out of position. And then I think a couple of seasons back, Austin Kim was the same way. Big hitter, super inconsistent. Once she started reducing the bogeys and doubles and turning rounds that were 75 into 71, she's off to the races and having a great season. So I see both those players doing similar things on the LPGA once they get there.
Do you get a chance to talk with, throughout the season, do you get a chance to talk with a lot of the players? And if so, what's the number one or maybe the top couple of challenges that they have out on tour? I mean, some of them I know coming out of college, it's a bit of a wake-up call for them, because they don't have the coach there anymore to sort of handle things. But what are some of the, and I'm not saying complaints, I don't mean it that way. I'm just saying, what's some of the biggest challenges that you've heard for them adjusting to this sort of new way of life?
Yeah, most of them just haven't played this much golf, and they haven't played it in a way where they had to set their own schedule. They're used to having a coach tell them where they need to be, what time, the travel's already arranged for them. So now they've got to plan their own travel. They've got to plan their own schedule. They've got to, and they practice too much. I honestly see them practice. They really haven't figured out how to manage their energy throughout the course of the week. So I think that's the biggest adjustment these players have. I also see a challenge with finances. They've got a lot of pressure. They got to make money, and they're not playing for a ton of money out here. So they've got to figure out how to stretch a few dollars into a whole season. And that can be difficult for some of the players. And the ones that handle that the best are the ones that, play 2-3 years out here and then finally make their way to the LPGA Tour.
Yeah. Cindy, I'm going to let it go back to you, but, we've heard quite a few players this year talk about trying to find balance with their practice. Remember some of the earlier ones were talking about how they were just grinding on the practice range, and to the point where they almost were feeling a little burnt out at times. So Jody raises a really good point. So I'm going to let you ask some questions, I know, but is that not correct? I mean, you found that as well, playing on the LPGA Tour, seeing a lot of players out there just constantly beating balls. And what would be your recommendation to some of these players to maybe find a more balanced life out there on tour?
I don't think they need my advice. I think they find that out for themselves. That I think it's their fear of, how do I handle all this, and do I really belong? I think it's believing they belong. But I think Jody has shown them that he believes in them and finding money for them to play. And that's given them more peace of mind that, it's almost like they got a dad that believes in them. And they're so grateful that they can take a deep breath. And so they're so happy. So Jody, thank you. And I'm sure they thank you every week. So tell us how the landscape looks moving forward, because now you're doing it for the befores, the during, and I know you're not doing it for the afters, but how's it look?
I mean, I think from my perspective, it's headed the right direction, and you don't see it yet. But it's like the behind the scenes stuff that's coming that I'm really excited about. For example, next season, we're going to announce the schedule on Thursday. It's going to be a similar number of events. You're going to see a lot of usual suspects, but there's going to be 2 new events, and they're on better golf courses. The money's about the same, but what they don't see is the pipeline of new interest in new events and the 2027 schedule, which is probably 75% complete already. It's going to be way better. So it's taken some time to sort of clean up the opportunities, get the feelers out with sponsors, and then start the pipeline. And I think 27 will be incredible. 26 will be good, but 27 will be even better. And I think the quality athlete too, coming from college golf now, just makes it that much more competitive too. So the athletes are realizing they've got to play really, really well to succeed at this level to get to the LPGA. I never want this to be a tour where somebody can spend a whole career here. I want them to be able to play for 2, 3, 4 years, figure out if they're good enough to get to the next level, or if they enjoy this lifestyle. And if they do, great, let's get them on to the next level. If not, let's also help them find another job in maybe golf that in a career that they really love, whether it's teaching or working at a club or being a membership director. I'd spend as much time counseling athletes on a career outside of golf than I do talking to them about their career competitively.
Let me ask you a question. Do you have any training on the side for that?
Yeah, we work with Courtney Trimble at For Hire. She comes and does 3, 4 seminars a year that talks about career planning. And it's not really like, hey, you're not good enough to play. What it is like, here's some things that you can do to prepare yourself as a backup plan or an alternative plan. If you might be good enough, you just might not enjoy it. I know when I played professional golf, I hated to travel, which is ironic now that I travel 30 weeks a year. But it's not for everybody. It's a lonely lifestyle. It's tough. It's a grind. But it's also a lovely way to make money if you're good enough and you figure out how to get to the next level. So we do provide some training, and we
Well, if
try to
that's
provide
important,
resources.
it's funny. We taught a young girl that, from the time she was 13, she went to Niagara University, a D1 school. She played. She was number one on their team. She now works for Goldman Sachs. She texted me and she goes, "Hey, I think Marina Alex is working. Weren't you friends with her?" And I said, "Yeah, we taught, a girl that she went to Vanderbilt with." She was on a webinar on Zoom. And I said, "Yeah, tell her that I said hi. She's working in Florida." And she played on tour, won a bunch, played in the Solheim Cup, all that stuff. And I said, "Well, isn't it funny that they do have a life after golf?" And it's
Yeah.
not for everybody. And it's not to say, "Oh, you're not good enough and you failed." It's hard to be out there, and it's lonely, and it costs a lot of money. And you might want to get married and have kids and have a normal life. It's not all,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
you have to be really, really good. And I told
it's
Dad, we have a young girl we thought that went, she played D1 golf. She won a bunch of tournaments, and he wanted her to be on. And I don't think she wants to be on. She's working at Quail Hollow right now. She's got a great job. She just didn't hit it far enough. Sorry.
yeah.
It's okay.
Mhm. And golf to me is the ultimate career hack. If you're good at golf, you can translate, and you've got a decent personality, and you try to get better at your job. You can take those skills and you have an advantage over somebody who doesn't play golf. It's a fact. I've seen it a million times. And so the advantage that these athletes have as they move into the next level of their career is a big advantage.
Really advantage. I've done okay for not ever winning.
So let me ask you, Jody, real quick. You mentioned about some new events coming up and that, and obviously each season, I think you said last year when we had you on, or earlier in the year, you said that you were trying to find that sweet spot of just the right number of tournaments, because you don't want to get to the point where there's too much that they're, again, because of travel and things like that. So I think you said around 20, maybe 21, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So are you at that number now? Are you at a comfortable number now? And you said you were got a couple events, new events. Is it just new sponsorship that are replacing existing events, or is it in addition to what's already on the plate?
Yeah. So when the schedule comes out on Thursday, it'll be 19 events. We have 2 more that are just like they haven't signed yet, and we're hopeful that we can add them to the schedule later, but before the season starts in March. Worst case scenario, we're at 19, and I still think the sweet spot is 20 to 22 events. I think the biggest thing for me is trying to get average purse up. Right now they're playing for $250,000 a week. Ultimately, I'd love for them to make $500,000 a week. I don't think what the Corn Ferry Tour has done is incredibly healthy by having them play for $1 million a week, because somebody could live on the Corn Ferry Tour, never make it to the PGA Tour. So that's not really the role of a developmental tour. Now, that might not be the purpose of the Corn Ferry Tour anymore. It might be a soft landing spot for those as they tighten things at the top. So I'm not criticizing that at all. But for us, our job is to identify the talent that's going to the LPGA. So somewhere between 4 and 500,000, I think, is the right amount, because somebody could finish 75, 80 on our points list and make enough money to sustain the lifestyle, the career, to pay for their expenses on the golf course, maybe a little bit of money to sustain them in the off season, add some sponsorship to it, and that can keep it going. But they're not going to be comfortable out here. They've got to get to the next level to be able to have that comfortable lifestyle.
Well, yeah, and it's, as you said, it's really a stepping stone, if you will, to the next level. And I agree with you. I think doing and again, it's not meant as a criticism, but I agree with the Corn Ferry. I mean, having it that much makes it just a little bit too much comfortable that they're not going to want to move on, and it's kind of like that. You got to push them out of the nest, so to speak. The kids they're grown now. Let's get out of the nest. So you've got to and it's be realistic, but I think that's a great point that you raise. So when you are dealing with sponsors now, because you've had a few years to really settle into the position, you kind of know the ins and outs of what's happening on the Epson Tour. Is it an easier sell now, do you think, than what it was when you first came out? And it's not a reflection on you personally. I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
More in the limelight on the big stage. Is that helping as well?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's getting easier. It's still tough. You have to find companies that can write a check for $300,000-$400,000, and those are not. They're not everywhere. It's not like going out and pulling money off the money tree out in the backyard. You really got to go search for those companies that really believe in the mission. They believe in the journey. They believe in supporting women's professional athletics. But it's also incumbent upon us to fix the product, which is what we've really worked hard on. We've added digital leaderboards. We've really worked on the Pro-Am experience. We want to create more value on that Wednesday experience for the amateurs and for the sponsors. And I think that over time will make things easier for us to sell sponsorships, because the reputation about it being a good value will start to get out there.
Now, Epson is the, I guess the principle now for when does their thing come to an end, and have you heard discussions as to them continuing on?
Yeah.
I know. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's an easy question. They're through. It was a 5-year deal. It expires at the end of 2026. We have started discussions. We started them way back early this season, back in March. The continue to go along. We're very optimistic about the future with Epson. We don't have anything to announce yet, but I think we're getting close to that time.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've been a good partner, for the last several years. And I know the girls have, that we've had on the show have really spoken very highly what you and your team have done over the last few years. They're really, really excited about it. And again, they realize that it's a stepping stone to the LPGA. But they really appreciate all the hard work that you guys have done behind the scenes to make it better for them to prepare for that next level. And sorry,
if it's all right, I would love to give Epson a shout out. I mean, they are incredible company. They care about not just about their brand and the tour. That's important, but what they care about is the athlete journey, and they really make sure that the athletes are well taken care of. And every time they have a little bit of extra money in the budget, it goes right to the athletes, whether it's buying them swag or upgrading food and beverage at the Epson Tour Championship. I mean, those are just small examples of things they do, but that just goes to their mindset of being athlete first.
That reminds me, it was a question I want to ask, and then Cindy, I'll let you help us wrap up the segment. But you moved the Tour Championship out to California.
Mm-hmm.
How has that transition been going? It's Indian Wells, right? I think if I remember correctly. Has that been a success in the sense that, do you feel it's a better fit? and do you see it staying there for a long period of time, or is there a chance that maybe at some point you may come back this way to the East Coast, where it's a little closer for me to visit? I'm just curious. I mean,
it's been a good for Epson. I mean, they can drive over from their headquarters in Orange County, and that's really important. The city of Indian Wells has been a great partner. It's beautiful. This year, the weather wasn't 110 degrees. We got off to a tough start. That first year, it was too hot. This year, it was very reasonable. It was gorgeous. We had an amazing tournament. Ann Chen wins in a 5-hole playoff, I think, over Sophia Schubert on the last day to vault Ann up the points list and get her into the LPGA. She's another player to watch. Big hitter from Duke, smart, and just really lovely person as well. I think she'll do very well commercially off the golf course if she can keep her card as well, because she just got that right personality for sponsors. But yeah, it's been a good relationship. I mean, I would love to rotate it, but if Epson wants to keep it in Southern California, we're going to keep it in Southern California.
Yeah. I don't blame you. I'll just have to suck it up and pay for the flight.
That's right.
Cindy, go ahead. So, Cindy, go ahead.
What would you tell our listeners and potential sponsors are the biggest benefits to sponsoring an Epson Tour event?
Well, I would think the biggest benefit is if you want great value, put in $300,000-$400,000 into a tournament, you're going to receive 10x that in media value. There's not a lot of places where you can invest your money that's going to return that kind of media. But what I would also say is Pro-Am experience is top notch. Your clients, your employees, the mission of the Epson Tour, and the relationship that they'll develop with the athletes through sponsorship is priceless. And so they just need to come experience it. Come play in a Pro-Am, come spend time with me on property. I'll tour you around. I'll introduce you to players. I'll introduce you to our staff. And once you get to see this thing, you are going to want to be part of it.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think it's a great. I think I agree with you. I think Epson's a great partner in this venture. I think they've really stepped up over the years. I hope they continue on with that. I know that a lot of the players speak very highly when they come on the show and so we really appreciate that. But and just one final personal note, I just want to say in respect to your staff, Carly, of course, who has taken over as a liaison with the show, and that we love dealing with her. She was on a couple of weeks ago. And we basically told her that if she tried to leave that position, that you were going to have her fired. So we hope you'll stick up with that, because we really like her.
Agree.
Yeah, we really great. She's a great partner to have, and she's really stepped up and embraced that role. So
yeah, I mean, she's one that she probably could have tried to play professional golf, but she has other talents and she wanted to pursue those. And she's really good at her job. I mean, she's young. And she's really impressive. And she also approaches this with a player's mentality. I mean, because she played Division I college golf, she understands. And so she asks the right questions, and she's diligent. And I hope she's around for a while. I'm going to work for 5 or 6 more years. I hope she's here every step of the way.
We hope so too. She's been a great partner to have, but that's just a testament to you and your leadership and that at the organization. Well, Jody, want to thank you. We know you've got to go. You've got things to do, and we really appreciate you spending time. We're excited to see what's going to happen in 2026, and we hope you'll come back again in the new year and help us kick off the season as well. But we appreciate you joining us. So happy holidays. All the best to you and your family. And we look forward to seeing you again in 2026.
Yeah,
Thank
great.
you.
I look forward to it. Yeah, bye, everyone.
Hi, I'm Karen Jansen, LPGA Master Teaching Professional and National Academy of Sports Medicine Certified Personal Trainer, and I'm very excited to share with you my Cardio Golf online subscription. Professional golfers know the importance of athletic development for golf. As a recreational golfer, you might not have the time to train like an elite athlete, but by simply adding a few golf-specific exercises and swing drills into your daily routine, you can dramatically improve your game, and you can do it at home with Cardio Golf. I have various pieces of equipment to help you train indoors, away from the golf course, Like the Cardio Golf Shorty Club. This club is short so that you can swing inside. You're not going to hit the ceilings or the walls. The Cardio Golf Slope. This is great to simulate an uphill and a downhill lie. You know, the ones that you get on the golf course, but there's nowhere ever to practice. We also use this as a fitness step. I also have various pieces of equipment from Golf Gym, like the Power Ball and the Power Bands, to help you improve your strength and flexibility. Join me every week as I take you through workouts that are going to help you shape your swing and trim your score. Start a free trial today. Go to cardiogolf.com.
If mental clutter and inconsistency have been sabotaging your performance, rhythm and tempo phrases could be your breakthrough. These powerful phrases tap into your brain's natural rhythm-motion connection, syncing your swing to tour-level precision. Think of it like your body's instinct to move with the beat. This is scientifically known as sonification. With Audio Golf, we harness sonification to align your swing perfectly with the right rhythm and tempo, elevating every part of your game, from drives to putts. Let's talk about Pat, an aspiring pro. In just one 30-minute session, his leg putting accuracy shot through the roof. It might sound too good to be true, but you can experience it for yourself. Click the link and get access to the free lesson, 15-foot putts in 10 minutes with rhythm and tempo control.
Welcome back, everybody. We're excited to welcome our next guest. And again, a special thank you to Jody Brothers, the Chief Business Officer of the LPGA Epson Tour, for joining us on the first half. We really appreciate hearing about all of the exciting things, not only that happened in 2025, but also what's up and coming in 2026 and 2027. So you make sure that you go and check that out, and we'll tell you how to do that a little bit later on. All right, our next guest has been on the show a number of times over the years. She's been one of our favorites, Debbie Waitkus. She founded her company back in 2000, which is Golf for Cause. She's also an author and speaker, and her passion for the sport is evident in her work with the First Tee of Phoenix and Women in Golf industry. She is most proud of her work with the LPGA co-founder and World Golf of Hall of Fame member Marilynn Smith, as both a confidant and co-tournament director of her annual Pro-Am. And the Pro-Am has raised money for Marilynn's Scholarship Fund, which has awarded over $1 million to young women to help attend college. And she also co-founded the Marilynn Smith and Founders Legacy Foundation to forward the spirit and legacies of the trailblazing LPGA founders and pioneers. So, Cindy, let's welcome back our good friend, Debbie Waitkus.
Good morning, my dear.
Good morning, Cindy. It's so good to be with you today. You're all bundled up. Are you snowed in?
No, not too bad.
Okay, good.
Move south, Cindy.
I kind of
Well,
like
Arizona.
Yeah, or Arizona. That's another good option as well. Well, Debbie, first off, we want to thank you for coming back, and I'm going to let Cindy start things off here. But before she does that and asks her questions, maybe you could just kind of give us a little bit of an overview of the Marilynn Smith Scholarship Fund, just for those that maybe are not familiar with it. Just kind of give us a brief overview, and then we'll get into some more specifics as the conversation opens up.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Ted. And first of all, we've awarded $1.5 million. So we are well over $1 million. And that's gone to 300 young ladies. The scholarship is available to girls who are high school seniors in the U.S. and in Canada who will be going to college and playing collegiate golf in the United States. And this is the first year of opening it, so that's pretty exciting. And these girls are leaders. They are strong academically. They play golf. They're collegiate golf, and they do community service. So they are well-rounded women. And the whole idea behind Marilynn's Scholarship Fund was to get these girls to college where they would have an opportunity, a platform to launch from. Your team would be their sisterhood, right? Their group of friends, a coach, a mentor. And this all started because when Marilynn went to the University of Kansas and was trying to play in the golf tournament in the women's division, her dad, Bob Allen, who was the director at the time, more expensively, so she could get to the tournament. And he actually said to her, "I am sorry, Mr. Smith, that your daughter And that just stuck with her. So in 1999, she was in a position to start her scholarship fund and help make a difference to girls and get them to college, because it's the collegiate experience that those girls who are playing golf can take them that much farther.
Wow.
Very good. Yeah, and she's done so much, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. But yeah, she's just done an incredible job in really giving back to the game. I mean, she was obviously a legend of the game herself, and she's done this through this scholarship fund and has been able to help a lot of young women. So, Cindy, I'm going to let you start things off. I know you've got some questions about what Debbie's going to be doing in the upcoming season. So, go ahead.
So tell us about the event.
Well, the event is in April, and we have a Sunday tea and the Marilynn Smith Scholarship Pro-Am. We always have a tournament honoree. We have two, Daniel and Meg Allen, both members of the World Golf Hall of Fame. And we will have interviews prior at the Sunday tea, which is also a display of LPGA memorabilia of LPGA history, of the members and pioneers, and community tables around the room with our community partners, and a lot of visiting, and then the interview process. Jane Crofter will be doing interviews. We will also have a couple of our pearls there. And our pearls are the scholarship recipients, and they have their own certificate now. We've gathered them, and they get mentorship training and programming, and we have opportunities for them to Maryland's legacy by going around the country to different events. So there'll be a lot of love in the room. And we're actually, I should say this, but we're toying around with having the Senior Open again. We have someone who approached to sponsor. And if that comes through, then that will happen in a few days. And Chad, you had said that Marilynn did a lot for the tour. And one of the things was that she did the very first senior event. And there needed to be, in her mind, a place for the women to play. And that was back in 1988. And to honor that, we, for the last several years, have been a two-person senior here in Arizona, which has been her home state for the last 10, 15 years of her life. So
Wow.
lots happening at the end of April. April 26th, the senior event happens. It will go through the 29th. 26th is the Sunday tea, is the Pro-Am, and then the senior event would be the 29th. Yeah. Right. I was going to say, but right now, the scholarship portal, the application portal is open February 1st. And anyone that you know or your listener who might have a young lady in their life who would apply for the scholarship, by all means, we would love the more the merrier. That would be just amazing. And girls can find an application at forward.org, and it's /scholarship.
Thank you. So what other ways do you raise money for this?
So, it's very funny you should say that, because this morning I received an email from Sandra Gall, who was very close to Marilynn for several years prior to her passing. And Sandra is a LPGA Tour player. And at the beginning of the year, she held her Driving Dreams Invitational Golf Tournament. And she raised a bunch of money for both Forward as well as the Evan Scholar. And she's sending us a check or wire for $50,000. So that's for 10 scholarships. So we are just so thrilled. This is a great day. I get Sandra's email. I get to be with you, and then I'm going to go to the first invitational. Life is good. Golf is good. Yeah. So we've been trying to establish partnerships with others to help spread the awareness, to have other storytellers, and create impact for these young ladies. We just completed an auction that raised some service and a variety of partnerships, including covers. Jane Spicer with Jack rated an owl, which is Marilyn's favorite animal, and it has a strand of pearls on it, which is Marilyn loved pearls. That's why the scholarship recipients are called pearls. And so that's a partnership. The funds, some of the funds from that go to the scholarship as well. The scholarship. Yeah.
That's great. Ted?
So, as I mentioned, you were a confidant of Marilyn's, and for many years, and of course became the co-tournament director for her pro-am, as I mentioned. So you got to get sort of up and close and personal with her. What was her, I guess, biggest joy that she got from playing the game? I mean, a lot of people talk about, I played this and I won these tournaments and that. What was her joy that she received from play? What was it about golf that she just loved that made her want to pursue that career, number one, but also want to provide an opportunity for others to be able to be part of this great game?
Well, Ted, you've given me 3 questions there, because one is what was her joy and what was it that she wanted to do to kind of grow this game? And now I've already forgotten the third. So let's start with her joy. And I can remember at Founders Cup here in Arizona, there was a time during the pro-am that Suzanne Putterson jumped onto the back of the cart so that she could kind of ride with us and with Marilyn while she was playing. And she asked Marilyn the exact question, what was it that you liked about the game so much? And Marilyn was taken aback because she's never really had that question, at least from one of the tour players. And she was so quick to say, it's girls, it's the camaraderie. And that, I think, was the biggest thing for her. There are so many times that she just enjoyed being with the girls as well as the fans, the participants, the spectators who would come out. And she'd be visiting with them and walk right past her ball. So, but don't get me wrong. I mean, she was a stellar player and one of the larger money winners on tour at that point. But I think the social was really important to her, and that was all part and parcel of building the tour and sustaining the tour. I think that early on, there was that sense of adventure and let me show them. She was a competitor. She was always athletic, and I commend her for nurturing that in a day and age when that was socially unacceptable. But I think that there was a competition, and she just let me try it. I can do it. And now I've forgotten the third thing that you asked me.
I was going to repeat that. I'll rephrase it or reframe it just a little bit differently. But so what I wanted to find out was, I mean, we've been involved, the three of us, in golf for many years. So we get it. We understand. But there's a lot of people that don't have any clue what they just see a little white ball or chasing around some green grass and whatever. They don't really get it. But she wanted to expose others to this game. Why was that so important to her? What was it about the game that she felt if others at least gave it a try, they'd like it or maybe even love it as much as her?
I think that there is something to be said for recognizing that this is a sport where there is a place for women. And I also think that she recognized for women that there's a place in golf for them. So on both sides. And just like I said before, she was one of those tomboys, I suppose you could say, in a time that wasn't okay or socially acceptable, and being able to show the world that was something that is okay for girls and for women, and how it can enrich your life, and just the experiences that she had of being able to see the world. I don't remember, 7 presidents, not all while they were sitting presidents, but just what can happen if you take that step is it's not necessarily just how well you play, but the fact that you're playing and the environment and all that comes with it. And look at the camaraderie that we have. I mean, that's what's special, those relationships. She was friends with Shirley Sport for over 70 years. I mean, where do you get that?
Yeah. And Shirley Sport, of course, is another one of the founders. And it's just amazing, you know, when you think about these trailblazers, as you call them, if not for them, you know, the LPGA would not be in existence today, possibly, or certainly maybe not in the same context. So, I mean, they really did blaze that trail for the young women that are coming up through her, and recipients of the scholarship fund and so forth. And whether they choose to go on and become tour players, maybe at some point in their career, or some other, you know, business acumen, this is an opportunity that Marilynn had created for them to at least have that opportunity to be able to put themselves in a position. And whether, you know, golf is something they're going to do or not remains to be seen. But I mean, it gives them that opportunity. Cindy, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm going to let you continue on.
So how can our listeners help you with your events?
Well, I think being able to help us spread the word is probably the most important. And like I said, right now, the fact that the scholarship portal is open is key. I think with respect to the tournament itself and those events, being able to keep an eye out for those and help spread the word as well. And even if they're not going to attend, there will be an auction where they can participate and share that with others. And even if it's something as simple as going to whatever your either Amazon or Prime or Netflix, and watch the Founders film and be inspired. And in fact, I think I've shared this with you before. In the scholarship application, the girls watch the Founders film and then answer a couple of questions as to how we relate with the founders in their personal lives. And, you know, I think when you watch that film, it's extremely inspiring. And like Cindy, I've read your book, and it's inspiring, that perseverance that you had and that drive that you had. And I think in watching the Founders film, you get that same sense. And for the girls who earned the scholarship, I think they stand a little taller with knowing whose shoes they're in. And those who don't earn the scholarship, I think, are not only inspired as well, but they're all storytellers. They've learned a little bit about the history of this sport that they love, and that educational component, I think, is important. Shirley Sport would be thrilled because she was always trying to teach somebody something. So I think that, you know, even if your listeners went, and I think you can get it for free on Netflix. It's a documentary. It's wonderful. Charlie Fisk put that together, and it tells the story of our sport.
Give us the link to them to apply for the scholarship again.
At golfitforward.org/scholarships, plural.
Okay, we'll definitely get that up on social media and help foster that people to check that out. I wanted to ask one final question as we get ready to wrap up, and then we'll get you another opportunity to again relay the dates and location and that where the event will be for next year. But did Marilynn? I was going to say Shirley, but
you can say Shirley.
Marilynn ever say to you who her biggest competitor? I mean, obviously she had a lot of competition when she played professional golf, but who, you know, Nicklaus had his immediate rivals, and, you know, Palmer and all those guys on the men's tour, but who was her closest and most fierce competitor, do you think? Did she ever confide you in that with you?
Well, you've got to realize that the social is what was important to Marilynn. So she wouldn't go down the road of competitor. I suppose if you asked Louise Suggs that would be a different story. Um, and I know that Shirley always took it with Babe's attitude. The winner is here, and Shirley would tell her, well, there's no winner without us. We're going to compete against. You need us. But Marilynn was more about lifting everybody up and wanting everybody to have their best game possible. So.
Interesting. That's interesting. You don't hear that much in professional sports, so it's kind of interesting to hear that perspective.
I will share with you real quickly. There was one person, and she confided in me, but I'm not comfortable sharing. There was the Whistler, and Cindy, you may have heard about this. There was one of the founders who also whistled when the girls were putting. And if they ever did a team type thing, so, a partners thing, she didn't whistle for her partner. She went against everybody else. But it was a distraction thing, so these girls were crazy.
It sounds like whoever you're referring to was the female version of Lee Trevino, because Trevino's was talking. He would talk when everybody else was trying to do their business. So, yeah, that would be interesting. That would be a great trivia question to find.
Little gamesmanship.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I could see that happening. Yeah. Don't think that the ladies don't have their angles too. So, that's interesting. I like that. So again, let us know the dates. What are the dates that people need to really pay attention to? And then the website link again for people to go and get more information and if they want to do the scholarships as well.
Okay. Thank you, Ted. The events will be at the very end of April, starting the last Sunday in April, the 26th and 27th, hopefully the senior event, the 28th and 29th. And we are partnering a little bit also with the Epson Tour because the Carlisle event will be here in Arizona that same week, so the latter part of it. So we've got women's golf here in Arizona that week. It's going to be great. And all of that information will be available at golfitforward.org.
Perfect.
Well,
we want to thank you for joining us at our final episode of the season. And I'm going to do a quick closeout here in just a moment that you'll join us with. But we want to thank you for all that you do, not only for the game of golf, but just in keeping Marilynn's legacy alive. I mean, she just was a wonderful person. We obviously had the opportunity to have her a couple times on the show before she passed. And she just was just a real treat. And as you said, a great ambassador to the game. And she just gives so much back through the Marilynn Smith Scholarship Funds. We want to thank you very much, Debbie, for joining us. And as we get ready to close out, it's bittersweet, as it were, to announce that this is our final show for season 12. It's been another incredible journey this season for Cindy and I, and we can't thank you enough for being part of it. But don't worry, the break won't be forever. We'll be back and better than ever in season 13 as it kicks off on March 3rd, 2026. We're planning some fantastic discussions with the brightest stars in women's golf, and we truly hope that you'll save the date and join us again. So in the meantime, keep the golf chat going. We're going to be on a hiatus. All of your favorite episodes are just a click away. If you go to the iGolf Sports YouTube channel or on Spotify, you can watch the video version. Or if you want to just listen to the audio version, you can go to Spreaker.com or wherever you find your podcast. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you're the first to know when the new episodes drop for season 13. And a message of gratitude, if you will, to every single guest who shared their insights and to each and one of you who tuned in every week. Thank you. Your support means the world to us. And from both Cindy Miller and myself, we want to wish you a very Merry Christmas, the happiest of holidays, and a healthy and prosperous New Year. Thank you all so much, and God bless.
Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed listening to this week's Women of Golf show. Ted and Cindy wish to thank this week's special guests. Remember to join them every Tuesday from 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern here on the iGolf Sports Network or on any of these social media platforms: iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Castbox, TalkStream Live, and of course Spotify. To get updates on the show, you can follow the Women of Golf's Facebook page at www.facebook.com/womenofgolf. This has been a production of the iGolf Sports Network.